everyone. Thank you so much for being here and for your patience. We had a lovely tour, and I'm so grateful to Angelica and Aaliyah and Carolina and Corey and Madeline and the whole team here at Zoomix for, well, I guess, and the alums. We want to shout out Rep. Mataro and Jessica also for sharing a little bit about what this space and this program has meant in this community for 31 years, I'm told. We are here with our newest member of the city's team, thinking about mental health and this moment and what we need. So you'll hear shortly from our new Chief of Behavioral Health for the City of Boston, Dr. Kevin Simone, who was here on the tour with us. I want to just ground us in some of the instances and experiences that we're seeing around mental health across the city. I visited our 911 call center a few weeks ago and had the chance to hear from the team members there about what the process was, how they receive the calls, how they transfer them for response either to various first responders or support services. And one of the operators I met had worked in that role for the city for 35 years. And she told me that she had never before seen such intensity of calls coming in with mental health challenges, mental illness, and the severity and frequency were very different from the decades that she had worked before. We are in a moment of tremendous stress that's coming out of the pandemic, coming from changes in our economy and the struggles with our housing crisis, with transportation reliability, with all of the support services that our families need, that we need to continue investing in. And that is resulting in mental health challenges and a growing incidence of mental illness across all parts of our community. And we see it concentrated among our young people as well. Mental health is the epidemic underlying the COVID-19 pandemic, and that's why in Boston we are so lucky and fortunate to have brought on Dr. Kevin Simone, our new Chief Behavioral Health Officer based out of the Boston Public Health Commission. Dr. Simone's work focuses on the mental health of young people in particular, and we know that our young people have faced enormous disruptions in learning, opportunities for being in person with friends and peers, in the home, and in every aspect of their lives. And to address the deepening need for mental health supports for youth here in Boston, we have already worked to place a social worker in every Boston Public Schools and to increase the support services for social and emotional health directly through our school system. But we need to do a lot more. In collaboration with the Boston Public Health Commission and local partners, there are incredible examples all across our city of work and services and community that's being built that directly supports and strengthens the mental health of our young people. Organizations like Zoomix recognize the arts as a powerful vehicle for self-expression, community building, and strengthening social and emotional well-being. Music has been shown to decrease depression, to boost self-esteem, reduce the symptoms of PTSD in young people, and I feel this very keenly to this day. When I'm stressed about something happening in the office or in City Hall, I'll go over to the piano that's in the corner and just play for a little bit. We see here and walking through some of these rooms how mental health and the arts and the wholeness of every person, every young person who comes in these doors is all integrated. It's not one more box to check or one other thing to think about. And the impact that that can have when we see and value and lift up the entirety of our humanity, the entirety of our young people as whole, children and human beings, there's so much that lasts far beyond their time physically in these spaces or in these programs or connecting to the services that are being offered. We heard stories of the alums that have gone on to be superstars in superstar vocalists, or right here working in our State House in representing their communities, or having taken careers as arts expression therapists or leading arts education efforts statewide. It changes lives when we truly integrate mental health, community building, arts and culture, and every other possible support that we can give to our young people. I'm also grateful to be here with my colleagues in government, partners on the council, at-large councilors Ruthie Lujan and Erin Murphy, who have been champions for this work, and our budget at the city level has made possible the addition of a new Office of Chief Behavioral Officer, as well as more investments that we will continue discussions on around ARPA and the federal funding that we can put to good use. And at the state level, Representative Adrian Marrero has been one of our state's biggest champions of mental health. Just a few weeks ago, the House passed a comprehensive mental health bill that I'm sure he will tell you in more detail, but we are so thrilled at the city level for what it would do. Creating online portals that provide real-time data on youth and adults seeking mental health and substance use services, making it easier for healthcare providers to easily search and find open beds, and expediting the process for placing people under the age of 18 into appropriate care settings. Building a city for everyone means creating the ecosystem, the supports, the environment for everyone in our city to thrive, physically, emotionally, and as community members. It's a big undertaking, one that will require all of us to work together to continue to pass legislation, support and partner with our community organizations doing this work every single day, fighting the stigma that prevents so many people from seeking out the help they need, and removing the barriers in every possible space that we can touch our residents' lives, from our school system to public housing to our libraries and community centers. We want to make sure that all of these services are deeply interconnected and that we are elevating and prioritizing mental health as one of the City of Boston's top initiatives. Buenos días. Hace unos meses tuve la oportunidad de visitar uno de nuestros centros de llamadas al 911 y hablar con uno de los operadores. Me contó que en sus 35 años de trabajo nunca había visto nada parecido al volumen de llamadas de salud mental que estamos recibiendo desde el inicio de la pandemia. La salud mental es la epidemia detrás de la pandemia de COVID. Por eso estamos muy contentos de haber contratado a Dr. Kevin Simon, nuestro nuevo director de salud mental en la Comisión de Salud Pública para la Ciudad de Boston. El trabajo del Dr. Simon se centra en la salud mental de los jóvenes en particular. Sabemos que nuestros jóvenes se han enfrentando a enormes interrupciones en su aprendizaje, en sus oportunidades de socialización, en el hogar y en todos los aspectos de sus vidas. Para abordar la necesidad de apoyo a la salud mental de los jóvenes aquí en Boston, hemos colocado un trabajador social en cada escuela pública de Boston. Y en colaboración con la Comisión de Salud Pública y otros socios locales, proporcionamos servicios directos de salud mental a los jóvenes y les ayudamos a desarrollar estrategias saludables para controlar la ansiedad. Por supuesto, invertir en salud mental de nuestros jóvenes no es una labor que podamos hacer solos. Organizaciones como Zumex reconocen que la música y las artes son un poderoso vehículo de autoexpresión, de creación de comunidad y de fortalecimiento de bienestar social y emocional. Se ha demostrado que la música disminuye la depresión, aumenta la autoestima e incluso reduce los síntomas de trauma en los jóvenes. Cuando me siento estresada, también me siento al piano en un rincón de mi oficina. También estoy agradecida de estar aquí hoy con representantes, los concejales Ruthie Lujan y Erin Murphy, y también el representante Adrian Marrero, que ha sido uno de los mayores defensores de la salud mental de nuestro estado. Gracias a la diputada Marrero, hace unas semanas la Casa Estatal aprobó un proyecto de ley integral de salud mental que facilita a los proveedores de servicios la búsqueda y la localización de tratamiento, acelera el proceso de colocación de los menores de 18 años en centros de atención adecuados. Construir una ciudad para todos significa crear las condiciones para que todos los habitantes de nuestra ciudad prosperen, tanto mental como físicamente. Es una gran labor que requiere que todos trabajemos juntos para seguir aprobando leyes, apoyando a las organizaciones como Zumex, que hacen ese trabajo en nuestras comunidades y luchando contra el estigma que impide a tantas personas buscar la ayuda que necesitan. So thank you so much for joining us. I would like to pass it over to my colleagues in government to say a few words, and then if our tour guides want to contribute also, we would love you to add something at the end. But first, introducing our incredible new Chief Behavioral Officer, Dr. Kevin Simon.
So thank you, Mayor Wu. Thank you. So as Mayor Wu just noted, mental health is particularly important for youth as well as adults, and having safe spaces to come and be yourself, express yourself, is exactly what we heard from the tour guides in reference to the programming that they have here. I think one of the key things that can be missed is investment into spaces that youth can be who they are without necessarily it being quote-unquote therapeutic, like a doctor's office. I think a place like Zumex, Representative Maduro mentioned his parents could just feel comfortable dropping him here. And it's noting the importance of spaces like Zumex that allow families to feel comfortable knowing that they can go to work and their children are safe. The mental health crisis that we're currently in predated the pandemic, and there's issues related to access in reference to preventive services and to acute treatment, access to culturally competent providers and systems for diverse populations. And so in this role, we're going to be trying to think creatively with City Council and state partners in reference to what are the opportunities that exist already, like a Zumex, and how can we get more spaces like Zumex or expand so that way they can help serve more students or more citizens. One of the other aspects of the role that we'll be doing is having a center of behavioral health and wellness in reference to, again, thinking collaboratively with city departments, because if we're thinking about youth, undoubtedly that implies that we're going to have to think about education and how can we partner with school systems such that they have social workers in every classroom or in every school. How are those social workers being supported with regards to the number of students that they're undoubtedly going to see? So I think this is an incredible opportunity, and if there's a particular city that's primed to be able to figure out how to enhance and strengthen the mental health system, it would be Boston. And I think Zumex is just a prime example of what exists and how we need to be doing more for our youth, which is really to say that we need to be doing more for our families, such that we can have a decrease in the number of individuals experiencing anxiety, experiencing depression, having long wait times in hospitals. They could be expressing themselves via music, in safe spaces, like some of the tour guides told us. And it can start as early as 8 years old, 10 years old. You just need an environment and trusting safe people to allow youth to be themselves. And so I think we have an incredible opportunity here to move forward. And so I don't want to take more time, but if there's questions, I can answer those.
We'll do questions at the end.
Yep.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay.
Certainly. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to East Boston and welcome to Zumex. My name's Adrian Madro, proud to be the state rep here in East Boston. Even more proud to be an alum of this incredible program that I had the opportunity to attend when I was a kid growing up in this community. I want to thank my colleagues in government, our city councilors, our mayor, for having the foresight to create this new position to create a chief of behavioral health for the city at a time when behavioral health issues, which were bad before the pandemic but have only worsened since the pandemic, it's really showing where this city is prioritizing our resources, and that's in the mental health, the behavioral health and well-being of our residents. I want to congratulate and welcome Dr. Simone, who is going to be an incredible fit for our city. At the State House, I'm honored to serve Speaker Mariano as the chair of the Mental Health, Substance Use, and Recovery Committee. Of course, tackling some very, very important issues. And just the other week, as Mayor Wu referenced, we shepherded what will become some of the most major reforms to the mental health landscape in Massachusetts in decades. I think it's apt that we're here at a youth services organization in East Boston, here at Zoomix, because one of the focal points of that legislation was youth behavioral health and school-based behavioral health, in addition to redoubling our efforts to uplift and support community-based services, places like Zoomix. As I mentioned, we were in a mental health crisis before the pandemic, but for youth, as Dr. Simone noted, it has been particularly acute. It's been described as a cliff for mental health that youth are about to fall off of. So this could not be more timely for us to tackle legislation like this, for us to be uplifting amazing youth programming like Zoomix, which has for decades offered safe places for East Boston residents, young people to come, make friends, be themselves, have positive adult role models, and of course, learn music, learn to play instruments, learn to sing. And we all know that music and the arts can be unbelievably healing, incredibly therapeutic for one's mental health, for one's overall health and well-being. And so this program really is a gem for our community and for our neighbors who get to participate, because it really grounds young people here and allows them to have a positive outlet through the arts. And that's certainly in line with what we're trying to do with the mental health reforms in the legislation, again, as we're focusing on youth behavioral health, on school-based health, and of course on community-based programs like the one we have here at Zoomix. And without further ado, I think, Madeline? Oh, right, our colleagues in office. I'll turn it over to at-large City Councilor Erin Murphy. Thank you.
I don't know, want a little help? Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everyone. How are you? So I want to thank our state rep, Adrian Madero, for inviting us here and welcoming us here to East Boston, and also to Zoomix. I took my first tour, and thank you for over 3 decades. And it's not just about the music, right? You're supporting our youth in so many ways, so thank you for that. And I'm also here as the at-large city councilor, and I'm the chair of public health, mental health, and homelessness. And the first order I filed on the city council was to address the youth mental health crisis in our city. The second order I filed was to address the lack of investment our public schools spend on athletics, after-school programming, and arts, music, and theater. We know that we're only spending $78 per student when we have a $27,000 per student funding. So something we're going to continue to advocate for. Also, as most of us here know, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry and Pediatrics have declared a national emergency for children in mental health. Also, on December 7th, 2021, the U.S. General Surgeon issued a new advisory to highlight the urgent need to address the youth and mental health of our youth. As a BPS teacher for over 20 years and a mom for 33 years, I know firsthand that the mental health challenges that our children were facing before the pandemic were of great concern. This pandemic has only intensified these concerns as it continues to take an alarming toll on our children's mental health. What started as an infectious disease we know has evolved into a mental health crisis for our youth, and because they continue to face isolation, fear, stress at school and home, and also grief, and there's also ongoing uncertainty. I know many of us hope that we're out of this pandemic, but we know that we're not, and we're continuing to learn how to live through it. And that's very hard and confusing for our youth, our seniors, for everyone. The statistics are startling from the hospitals. As our new Chief of Behavioral Health knows, we have a huge increase in mental health emergencies for our children. And I do just want to highlight that our families, caregivers, schools, community centers, faith-based organizations, health centers, and hospitals are caring for our young people with soaring rates of depression, anxiety, trauma, loneliness, and suicidality that will have lasting impacts on them for generations and their families. So I do want to say that I'm committed on the council to work along with the mayor, my colleagues at the state also, to continue to advocate for spaces like this. A lot of the conversations in the ARPA funding also, which is a once-in-a-lifetime investment, and I'm so happy that the administration, Mayor Wu, was also committed to making sure we're supporting nonprofits across the city that are already doing this great work with our youth, with our mental health, and addressing that. So thank you for having me here today, and I looking forward to continue to working with everyone.
Hello, everyone. Buenos dias a todos. Bonjour tout le monde. My name is Ruth Louis-Jean, at-large city councilor, and I'm really excited to be here because I've heard so much about ZoomX from Rep Maduro, from so many people, that to have this opportunity to tour. Angelica, thank you for the tour. Was really phenomenal to learn that we have youth organizations that are really empowering our young people to really dive into the arts and to see how the arts can be healing. I think Corey said it really wonderfully when he said, you know, I work here, but it's not really to teach the students, it's to work alongside them and to really empower them and to work with them. And so that should be our work all the time whenever we're working with the young people, because they so much to teach us. I benefited when I was 14 years old from a youth organization that really changed my life, and it sounds like ZoomX does that every day here. So I'm really grateful. I'm grateful for the work of Rep Maduro in addressing our mental health challenges, grateful for the work of our mayor, and I'm incredibly excited that Dr. Simon is on as our new chief in the city, because we know that, as everyone has stated already, the problems in our communities are acute, especially in our black and brown communities, where there's access issues, where there are issues of mistrust and distrust when it comes to our health system. And so having folks in positions of power that look like them, that know, that are doctors, that know the challenges and that are addressing them head on, incredibly excited to have you here as our city, to have another Haitian person, to really, you know, it's, as someone who is Haitian, our community really, you know, it's always a toss-up when you're trying to convince people to seek help for mental health issues, right? And, you know, oftentimes think that church can solve the problem. And while that can be one of the solutions, we also have therapy, and we also have doctors, and we also have people who are trained to address these issues. So I'm encouraged. I'm a BPS student and BPS grad. My guidance counselor changed my life. And so one of the things that I've been advocating for is increasing the number of guidance counselors to round out these services that we provide our young people as they face these health crisis. So again, thank you to ZoomX, thank you to Madeline, to everyone. Listen to Angelica's radio show on 94.9 FM. It's called Bilingual Mess. Make sure you listen to it. I'm excited to go on the show as someone who grew up speaking 2 languages. Vraiment content pour m'ka là ensemble avec nous, pour m'ka parler créole, pour nous travailler ensemble pour faire travail pour communauté nous avons un peu de problème santé et puis me connaître communauté haïtienne là vraiment content que nous avons l'autre monde là cap lutter pour nous. So thank you so much, Dr. Simon. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to everyone here at ZoomX.
I also want to recognize that State Senator Lydia Edwards had a conflict for this time, but she's been an incredible champion, and Eduardo, her chief of staff, has been along with us on the tour, so thank you. Aaliyah, Angelica, whatever order you all wish, we'd love to hear from you.
Hi everyone, my name is Angelica Munoz, and I work here as a teen staff council. I have been in multiple programs. I've been here since around 2017, 2018, and ZoomX has shaped so many people's lives, not just mine. I feel like that ZoomX has helped both mental health issues and just someone normal, because everyone's normal, but I feel like sometimes we all need that support. We need someone like a friend or a family member. Even if they're not family or we don't really know them, come into ZoomX and they'll be there for you. If you need anything, they'll always have a helping hand for you. ZoomX has so many programs, including music, singing classes, even a band. They have so many classes that can encourage you to grow your confidence. They set you up to go on a stage. They get rid of your stage fright, which when I came here, I was actually really scared because I didn't know many people here. I am now pretty well known around the people around here, and I know most of the people here, which I am glad. Even though I am one of the youngest here, I am the youngest on the teen council, and I'm youngest for most of my programs, but I'm glad to be here for over, I'd say, 3 or 4 years. It's just been a really nice experience, and if I'm being honest, if you're a youth from the ages of 7 all the way to 18, I suggest you come here because maybe take 1 semester at least, see how you like it, because the programs here just can change your life with just a few hours of coming a week. And I feel like ZooMix is just such an empowering organization that can change your life or someone else's life, which is just something very inspirational. So thank you.
Great job.
Hello, my name is Aaliyah, and I'm a part of the ZooMix Teen Council as well as a radio intern this summer. And I just wanted to speak to how important it is when organizations pour into leadership and pour into youth empowerment, and I think I'm a testament of that. I think that without this organization, I wouldn't be who I am today. I think this pouring into youth and pouring into making sure that they feel empowered and heard is one of the most important things that you can do, since we are our future leaders, future politicians. And I just want to thank ZooMix and thank the ZooMix staff for transforming my life. And our Walk for Music is coming up next Sunday, so we'll definitely come and support and show up and keep supporting us and what we're doing, because it'll truly change the future of our city and our world.
Great job.
Madeline Carolina?
It's so funny. Hi, I'm Madeline Stachinsky. I'm the co-founder and executive director of ZooMix. Been working on this crazy project for 31 years, and it's a real honor to be here today with all of our elected officials and passionate community members, alumni, both on our staff and also on your staff. Very exciting to see the intersection of so many people really trying to do what's right for community on many levels and collaborating across various sectors. So I'm excited about that. I'm also saying it's so interesting that we didn't have to mention music and the arts, but it's embedded in everything that we do. And so we don't sit around talking about mental health on a regular basis or even talking about leadership on a regular basis. We do projects together. We do creative, artistic, we write songs together, we perform together, we do videos together, we do radio together, we go out in the community and provide services for folks in the community. And in doing that, we learn about each other, we get skills, we become assets to our neighbors and to our friends, and we become family. So it's wonderful to have you all here today. I will say that music and the arts are incredibly life-changing, powerful modes of communication, modes of work, and in fact are a really important part of the economy in Boston. And as we look to the future, I really want to see every one of our alumni getting paid to do something that they love and that they're passionate about, and that's the path that we're on. This is really about creative workplace development or workforce development, and we are very, very committed to opening those doors of opportunity. We already did an introduction today that might get one of our alumni at least thinking about new jobs, and really excited about that. So thank you all for being here today. If you want to see a big slice of our community in action, show up on Sunday for Walk for Music, which then folds right into the first kickoff of Eastie Week, which is an incredible 2.5-week celebration here in East Boston with all sorts of organizations really highlighting and showcasing how this community holds together, especially during difficult times. So it's an honor to have you all here. Thank you all. And listen to some music, listen to ZooMix Radio 94.9 FM, and enjoy your day. Thanks.
Do you have the details for Saturday? Do you have the details for Saturday off the top of your head? Okay. Inspired by Aaliyah's plug for this weekend, there's also an event on Saturday that the Boston Public Health Commission is hosting, a family fun day at Harambe Park, and
11 to 3.
Okay, Dr. Simon tells me 11 to 3 this Saturday in Harambe Park. So we want to see you come out and connected to some resources while also having a good time. Questions for Dr. Simon or anyone up here on mental health, on this organization? If you have off-topic questions, I'll take them afterwards on the side.
Dr. Simon, what's your approach going to be with mental health in the homeless?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so there's already work going on through the Office of Recovery Services, and so we'll be collaborating together because they're thank you. They're already within the commission. And so even yesterday, I toured some of the facilities. So again, we'll be working together to figure out how best to resolve that issue. But in reference to the priority here in terms of thinking about youth, again, it's going to have to be a mixture and an intersection of talking to city officials, talking with other city departments, be that law enforcement or education, community providers, organizations like ZoomX, because what's happening right now is we need to have a different way of thinking about how to address some of these challenges, and there are a lot of opportunities to uplift organizations that are already doing the work without it actually having to be labeled, therapy. The fact that you're able to just be who you are here and have boundaries, test boundaries, and feel comfortable to do that is exactly what we need. And it is a therapeutic space without it being labeled a therapeutic space. So any other question? No. Thank you.
Oh, one more.
Oh.
I have one in Spanish, maybe. Sure. ¿Hay detalles sobre estas llamadas al 911, tal vez un porcentaje de cuántas de estas llamadas son por salud mental y desde cuándo se ha visto este aumento? ¿Usted mencionó más detalles sobre eso?
Ok, debemos contactar después, pienso, con los detalles. En ese momento no tengo los específicos detalles, pero es en cada área de servicios para nuestra comunidad, los incidentes, la frecuencia y la intensidad de las llamadas en momentos de crisis, con el departamento de policía o la necesidad en las escuelas con situaciones de ansiedad o depresión, o en nuestra Age Strong Commission con la experiencia de nuestros residentes de edad, señores de edad tercera. Es un momento muy importante para nuestra recuperación, proveer los servicios directamente a los residentes, pero también con organizaciones que crear el medio ambiente para recuperación en cada manera.
También sabemos que algunos de los responsables de varios de los tiroteos masivos que hemos visto han sido adultos mayores, no tan mayores, pero más jóvenes. La salud mental relacionada a este tipo de incidentes, ¿cómo lo ve usted tal vez teniendo un rol?
Cuando hablo con los nurses, enfermeras, cuando hablo con las enfermeras en nuestras escuelas, la tensión entre servicios a la escuela y la estigma para recibir los servicios ya también es un muy importante barrera para nuestros residentes y jóvenes en particular. Entonces, con organizaciones y los espacios en la comunidad, cuando ya tenía una sensación de seguridad, de conexión y comunidad, es una plataforma muy importante para conectar con servicios medicales y servicios comunitarios también. Okay, gracias. Good. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.